He'll be alongside Charles Visser, second of the Universal Motorsport and Team Red Racing Brigade, and another Cape Town-based driver who's had lots of success at the circuit. Bright yellow wing mirrors there on that Team Red Racing car will show you. Ex-Team Red Racing, and now for Davidson, and with the Stu Davidson and Sons colours is Clinton Besaidnout. Almost Big McDonald's colours there, but we saw him at Burger King last night, and hopefully that is going to bode well for him in terms of his nutritional requirements for the day. Let's see if it all pays off there for Clinton Besaidnout, the man from Port Shepstone, and bases his racing at the Desi's Raceway circuit down in Port Shepstone. It's Jagger Robertson who's behind that. He was the top rookie, finishing ahead of Dean Fenter in 8th and 9th place respectively for Liqui Moly and Universal Motorsport, and Dean Fenter of course out of the VDN Auto Cars, Chamber 77 and Wright Motorsport Camp. Quantum Aquena, a lone Stradale car out there alongside his former teammate in Lonica Martins. She's no longer part of the Stradale Motorsport Camp, but still got some Stradale stripes on the side of that car. But of course she's running for Denmark and Trio Scrap Metals now in her machine. She's ahead of Bryce Pillay, who runs for MIG Logistics, Cara Hill for the Calix team, and then it's Ethan Kutsia down in 14th place for Team Red Racing, just ahead of the second Squadra Course Volkswagen Motorsport Development Team driver, Zolele Njabuksa. Fantastic drive from him so far, and definitely improving every time he gets behind the wheel of his Polo GTI. This is how things come down towards Cape Town and Fostron Corner. Dunlop tyres now brand spankers as of qualifying yesterday. I can see some support already being shown there from Joanne Minard, shouting out for Lonica Martins and looking for a chance now for her to improve on her grid position down in 11th, just outside of the top 10 there for Lonica. I did have a chat to her just after qualifying, in between the sort of qualifying and Super Bowl. She said she wasn't quite happy with the setup, but they were going to work overnight to ensure they could get a slightly better setup on that car. Let's see if that is actually the case here. Remember, they're also going to be fighting here in race number 1 for the fastest lap of race 1, which will determine their grid positions for race number 2. Grid positions for race number 3 later on are already determined, and that's due to the second fastest laps from qualifying yesterday. And if I look at those lap times, it's basically going to be a similar looking grid with 1 or 2 changes, and in fact it's a lockout of the Bullion IT team for race 3. They'll be on the front row, both of them, for race number 3. Eric Schultz makes his way off the circuit, says we're all good to go. We're looking for a green flag at the back. We've got that. The Lollipop Man says 5 seconds to go, and makes his way off the circuit. Lights on, and we're about to go to race action for the first time in 2022 for the 26th anniversary of Polo Cup in South Africa. It's a good start from Giordano Lupini, but it's a much better start from Tate Bishop, using the outside line and of course the cleaner race line to get off the line a lot quicker than Gio was able to do. And Gio's teammate looks like he's also outgunned him into turn 1 with Yuri Swart moving up into second place. Bit of a chop and change there between Ethan Kutsia and Jambuka at the back, but it's a fantastic start from the angry man out the front end of this field. Darby van der Merwe keeping out Martium Samanga, Charles Visser around the outside, Besaidnout on the inside. So once again we see rivals and ex-teammates going at it. Besaidnout just slots up just ahead of Charles Visser. Visser's got problems of his own with his new teammate there in the Liqui Moly Team Red Racing machine with Jagger Robertson. So it's Jagger Robertson who's now holding up the second part of this field, and on his tail looks like that's Dean Fenter. Lonica Martins behind that as they come flying through. Is that Lonica, or is it possibly Quantum? Could have been Quantum Aquena, I think. No, it's Quantum Aquena, then Lonica. Lonica side by side with Bryce Pillay as they came out of Malmesbury. Superstar cheer from these Polo Cup GTIs as they head down towards turn 5 Fostron Corner for the first time in anger. You can see the sun glistening off those windscreens, PG shatterproof windscreens on those cars. And part and parcel, of course, the sponsorship deals they've got here as they come flying down into Fostron. It's Bullion IT second and third. The Cape Town boys now leading things out and commanding the front end of Polo Cup, like we almost see every single season in Polo Cup. We saw it last year with Yuri Swart dominating the first 3 races of the season. It looked like it was going to be a good start, but eventually, remember, he would end up with about 3-point difference between himself and Leighton Free in this championship. He's not going to let that happen for 2022. Visser now moves ahead of Besaidnout. maybe using one of the push-to-pass mechanisms that these cars have, and the availability of the drivers, remember, to use those push-to-passes here. And they definitely come into play. You can only use one per lap, otherwise it starts to affect the car's heat and temperature. So you've got to just time it and use those chess strategy maneuvers on those push-to-passes to perfection. Bishop, though, is the man to beat at this stage. Here comes a maneuver from the 27 car, Fenter. Dean Fenter definitely looking like he's got something in his deck of cards, and looking for a way now through on the Stu Davidson and Sons car off turn to Mercedes Note. Mercedes Note dropping into the clutches there of Dean Fenter. Monica Martin starting to close that gap down between herself, and you can see there Jagger Robertson just ahead of her in the Liqui Universal Motorsport machine. The man from Big Boss Auto. Oh, Yuri Swart. Oh, Yuri Swart gets a tag. Swart into turn 5. Fostron gets a tag from Tate Bishop. He catches it, fortunately, drops down to third place behind his teammate, but it looks like Darby van der Merwe is going to have a go at him. Darby van der Merwe definitely got better drive coming out of Cape Town corner and passes Yuri Swart on the main straight. Possibly hit a push to pass there as well to get through and make the maneuver stick when he saw the mistake that was happening. And with that push to pass, puts himself right underneath the back bumper of the first of the Bullion RT cars there, Giordano Lupini. Lupini was the pole man. Oh man, what a start to this Polo Cup action. Fantastic. And let's have a look at the replay there as they went into turn 5 Fostron. You can see he's on the high side there. Tate hangs onto that inside line. Yuri just had nowhere to go. There was a tag. There's a part of bits of plastic went flying there on Yuri's car. And unfortunately he stays on track. He has lost a little bit of ground. He's got one position back again on Darby van der Merwe. And he makes his maneuver through there on van der Merwe, who's now back down to 4th place. This is Ethan Kutsia, first time for him in Polo Cup, fighting with Cara Hill in the Calix car. And just behind that, it's the final car on track there of Njambuka. Super run here from the mid-pack as well, coming out of Bryce Pillay, MIG Logistics car, closing onto the back end of that second pack of Polos, fighting hard here at Killarney. Gio looking for a way through. Can he find it? No, he can't. Defensive driving from Darby van der Merwe to keep out Natim Samanga in the Squadra Course car, and he's having to defend frantically from Darby van der Merwe's teammate, and that of course is Charles Visser. Visser was looking dangerous and also looking for a chance to be slightly higher up from where he qualified. Let's see whether or not he's able to do anything about it. Here comes Yuri Swart going defensive on van der Merwe. Van der Merwe late on the brakes into turn 1. Monica Martin's looking to try and close down on her ex-teammate. Finds a way to keep out Bryce Pillay and now goes on the attack to get through there on the Shadale into Africa Mining car of Kwanda Mokoena. Kwanda Mokoena, remember, last year had a massive crash here in the opening round, and it shook him up quite badly, but it looks like he's coming back nicely here to get back into the thick of it. He was saying to me before racing started today, he was very keen to get into the mix here with this very, very tight and highly competitive Polo Cup field. See just how difficult it is here. You make one mistake, it can drop you 3 or 4 positions. The lap times are so similar. If we look at the top 10 cars, they're almost all on identical lap times. And I think the split between the qualifying was only 1.7 seconds between 14 cars on this grid. So you can see there's nothing in it. 0.2 of a second between each of the cars if you do the calculations. That's how tight it is in Polo Cup, and of course the reason behind one of the big sponsors getting behind you and joining long-standing sponsors like Ferodo and Dunlop and CompCare Medical Aid Scheme joining us. Oh, and there goes Pillay. Pillay out of shape, just too hot into Fostron, too fast into Fostron I'd say. And has he buried it? Oh, he has. Bryce Pillay making a crucial mistake there, not keeping the momentum through the kitty. That's very soft sand on the exit point there to slow the cars and bikes down if you do go off at Fostron. And Bryce Pillay is stuck in the kitty. Marshals are probably going to give him a hand to just push him out, but he has definitely buried it deep there in the MIG Logistics car. He's got Jack on the side of that car. He needs a Jack right now. He's just trying everything he can. Left, put it in reverse, put it in first. It's not happening. Remember, the Master's going to have to help him push it out and hopefully get it in time before this pack comes back down there to Cape Town corner. Maybe still under double yellows into Cape Town corner. That might affect what Natim Samanga is trying to set up here on Darby van der Merwe. If he sets it all up and gets down there, the Squadra Courseman will be looking to do an outbraking maneuver from the slipstream he's going to get from Darby van der Merwe now onto that back straightaway. Is that going to be the case? We'll wait and see. Here they come, back down the main straightaway and down towards us. Yellow flags waving, so no overtaking. Let's keep an eye on it in case anybody has a go here. They're not going to realize that Bryce Pillay put it out of shape unless you're in front or behind. Oh, there's a maneuver. Natim Samanga under yellow, overtaking. He's going to have to give that position back. I think he realizes it. Yes, that's good driving from Nati. Overtaking under yellow, he gives the position back, so he won't be penalized for that. He realizes it. In fact, I think it might be a safety car. Safety car has been deployed. That's why he also rolled out. Didn't see the safety car board there down in turn 5, but it definitely has been deployed because you can see everybody has slowed up dramatically. And we've got 10 laps of action, or 8 laps, I beg your pardon, in this one. So at the halfway stage, we have to roll the safety car. I don't know if that safety car is going to get this pack as they go through there. You can see it's stuck in pit lane at the moment. Hasn't rolled out just yet. But let's have a quick replay of Bryce Pillay getting it out of shape there into turn 5. He just came in so hot and just rolled backwards into the soft stuff. He should have probably maybe shoved it into reverse and carried on the reverse momentum he had, but he tried to stop it and get going again, and as soon as he hit the front and first gear, it just buried down and he had nowhere to go. So Tate Bishop will assume the role of the safety car and pace car for this point of the race. What it is going to do is it's going to concertina the field up again and bring them all back a little bit closer and up close and personal between the battles that were happening out there. So there we go with the yellow flags waving and the safety car board out. It is Tate Bishop who has assumed the position of that safety car. This is the reason for the safety car. We've got a car buried and the marshals were not able to help Bryce Pillay get it out of the big hole he's dug in the soft sand, which means we have to get a bit of assistance there from the Nissan Navara, one of our course cars today, helping us get Bryce Pillay back on track. If they get him unbuckled, he might be able to get going again and take up his position at the back of the field. Drive right MI Logistics car of Bryce Pillay. If he does get going again, he will probably have to slot in. There is the safety car, but it is a long way ahead of this pack of Polos. So Tate Bishop will hang on for another lap here. It looks like we might get maybe one lap of hot action here for Polo Cups as they complete what is going to be lap 6 and start lap 7 of 8. 2 to go, Tate Bishop, yeah. So 2 to go for Tate Bishop, and we're still under safety car, but I think that safety car will probably pick them up and then roll straight into the Park Fermé area at the end of the back straight and give these guys and girls a chance to go at it for one lap of frantic action in CompCare Polo Cup for 2022. And I was saying earlier on, it's great to have CompCare joining us as our naming rights sponsor. Remember, they are an extreme sport medical aid, covering all forms of extreme sport that most medical aids won't cover. The Universal Healthcare Group have found a way to get around that, and CompCare, of course, also supplying each of our drivers with substantial coverage on their medical aid for 2022. There we go, picked up eventually by our safety car. And it's Tate Bishop, Giordano Lupini, Yuri Swart, Darby van der Merwe, Nati Msamunga, and behind him will be Charles Visser. Dean Fenter's just behind that. He's ahead of Clinton Mercedes. Jagger Robertson's there for single digits. And then it's Kwanda Mokoena in the top 10, just ahead of his former teammate, Lonica Martins. I would assume, and it is, the lights are out on that safety car, so is it a Renault Duster? Yes, a Renault Duster being used here. The car will roll off into the Park Fermé area, and Tate Bishop will then resume the roll until they cross the line. There's no overtaking allowed until they cross the start-finish line. That's the one thing we've got to take into account here. We still have, there was lights off on that car earlier on. Now the lights, yeah, they're still off. So as they come round there, Renault will pull and peel off to the sideline. And you can see Tate trying to get some heat back up into the rubber. Dunlop shot cars here about to go at it for one more lap. And it's going to be one sprint lap to the line to sort out race 1 of 3 today for CompCare Volkswagen Polo Cup. Here we go. Concertina effect in full effect. That is the way we do it. 14 cars now, all back in action. Here we go for one lap and one more lap of Polo Cup as they head towards turn 1. Tate Bishop goes defensive, holds onto the inside line. Giordano Lupini right on his tail. Yuri Swart trying to find a different way through. Holzuk. Here comes Davy van der Merwe. He goes defensive to keep out both Besaidnout and Natim Samanga. Besaidnout's on the side, on the high line, and as they come through there, it'll be the inside line for turn 2 into Quarry. Can you use that advantage and possibly get through on Natim Samanga? Davy van der Merwe will hang on for 4th place. The top 3, no changes between them. Yuri Swart now with Davy van der Merwe right up the exhaust pipe, looking for a way to drive through that bullion IT car of Yuri Swart. Can he find a way past? Watch in the background, Charles Visser now putting the pressure onto Natim Samanga as well, and looking for a way through. He's got it. He heads into Interceptor and he intercepts to perfection to get through there on the Squadron Courseman. Forces Nati a little bit off the circuit, and wow, great defensive driving from Jagger Robertson, nearly going into the back end of Natim Samanga. And Samanga's driven a little bit wide. He goes off track. Natim Samanga's completely off circuit there. Has he been able to hang on to it? Looks like a big moment there for Natim Samanga, but he looks like he was able to keep it all together. He's lost the drive though, and Jagger Robertson has gone through. Dean Fenter looking for a way to get past him as well now. Looks like as they go down into Cape Town corner. Fostron is where all the actions happen so far today. And do we see a change up here between Gio and Yuri? No team orders in that other than possibly taking each other out. But Giordano Lupini looking to get the 2nd place ahead of his teammate Yuri Swart. Oh, across the dirt there was Ethan Kutsia by the looks of things. The flag is out. Bishop has taken it. He takes the first win of the season ahead of Yuri Swart. And Cara Hill off track somewhere on circuit. She gets going and gets a bit of grip onto those Dunlops. I think that's up at Cape Town corner. Fostron again. Yes, it is. There's the banking to confirm it. Mechanic's car of Cara Hill taken out unceremoniously there in the last part of the circuit. I'm not quite sure what happened there. We didn't get the action on the cameras, but what a great race. Tate Bishop winning things out over Yuri Swart and Giordano Lupini. Davy van der Merwe finishes up in the 4th spot ahead of Clinton Besaidnout, who just squeezed through. I think that's the reason for the Cara Hill damage. There's a good possibility that Zolela and Njambuka came together there with Cara Hill into turn 5. So it's Tate Bishop from Yuri Swart, Giordano Lupini, Davy van der Merwe and Clinton Besaidnout. Great job from Charles Visser. He finished up in 6th place ahead of his teammate. And if we look at the rookie championship there, so far Jagger Robertson stays at the front end and leads things out there ahead of Dean Fenter. Then it was Natim Samanga, Kwanda Mokoena and Lonica Martins. She was just outside the top 10. Ethan Kutsia finished up in 12th place. Zolila and Njambuka, I think, possibly involved with the incident between himself and Cara Hill. There is some battle scars there on the 2nd Squadra Course car, and the Squadra Course car stayed on track. Cara Hill ended up in the kiddie litter and eventually got back onto the circuit. So I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a chat between them, possibly a little bit of a visit to the COC.